Oh,
But
we
he's
got to
also
talk about
on, like,
Tony
a
Ferguson.
4 straight losing
The
streak.
Goggins training.
Oh my God, Taylor! This transcends like the nitty gritty UFC and gets out to like the wider like just sports world. I think so. Here's the situation:
Okay.
Tony fucking Ferguson, El Kukui, the Nightmare, the demon man, the boogeyman himself, this Mexican 155-pound fighter who used to be the guy that you didn't want your guy to go fight him. You're like, fuck, he's gonna cut my guy's face up. He's gonna embarrass my guy. He's gonna take my guy into round 5. Huffing and puffing, and he's going to be over there bouncing on his toes, licking blood off his fist. He's that guy. He always trained very crazily, all sorts of like kung fu, ninjutsu, lots of acrobatics, lots of weird stuff. He made a point one time, even though his fight got canceled, of making weight anyway, like cutting all the weight down to 155, which is insane. And that's when I know David Goggins or whatever, noticed him, because I remember back then that Goggins was like, I saw this guy Tony Ferguson. You know, he's always running. Those guys, Tony Ferguson. If I got called off, he still made weight. He was letting them know. He was letting them know. And I'm like, yeah, he was letting them know he's a fucking idiot. He just dehydrated his brain. He's gonna have to go into combat in a few weeks. And sure enough, he gets knocked the fuck out. He's lost 6 in a row. He had won like a dozen or 16 in a row. And we wanted him to fight for the belt. He was the interim. He had the interim belt. He tripped over a fucking power cord, blew his knee out, didn't get to fight. Then there's people missing weight, fights getting canceled. Lots of bad luck. Now he's on a 6-fight skid. 6 in a row he's lost. But he's lost to the best. He's lost to Benil Dariush. He's lost to Justin Gaethje. He's lost to Charles Oliveira. And there's some other people he lost to. But come on, those guys, like the best.
Some
is
quality
where they started.
losses in there. I'd be proud to lose to them.
Yeah.
Outrageous. Like the guys that you call when you want somebody to fight for the championship. He's lost to those guys. But now it's 6 in a fucking row. It's 6 in a fucking row. And his next opponent is Paddy the Baddy, who's won 6 in a row. All right. Paddy Pimblett, that British guy with the Beatles
with the hair. Yeah.
Yeah. Who the crowd like loved in Liverpool, like lost their fucking shit.
Very popular fighter. Many people would argue.
Anymore.
Yeah, he's said some shit, but many people would argue that his opponent's a little cherry picked. That usually when you win 6 in a row, you're like going for a title. Instead, he's fighting people who don't have Wikipedia pages, kind of.
Oh, it's his first 6, you know, like he's getting started. But this I'm so interested in this fight. There are a lot of big fights coming up. Championships are on the line, like big deals. Lots of cool storylines. This is the one that intrigues me the most, because you've got this guy in Tony Ferguson who has no quit in him. He doesn't know how. We've talked about how he's crazy, how he kidnapped his son and went to the desert because he thought the apocalypse was coming. We talked about how he tore his mantle apart because he thought there were listening devices in it. He's a wild man, an insane man. I think he's going to win. He's being trained right now by that. You know David Goggins, right? And I think I'm getting his name right. He's the black Navy SEAL guy who like does all those crazy things. He's
like a mentally ill runner. He's fucking mentally unwell.
Yeah, he's
mentally
like
unwell.
His training methods are impressive but stupid, right?
Overtraining.
Like running 100 miles with a broken foot in 24 hours. How is that like advisable?
Is that what he did?
Yeah, he works out until he like shits himself. So I diarrhea all over my pants. Stay hard.
I think
this guy seems like a bit of a kook.
I'm surprised you don't know about this guy.
I think I saw a clip of him, this like lean runner looking black guy, and I think like all I know about him is I saw the clip and he was like, I never train with music. You have to be prepared to run and fight in silence. That's why when I work out, it's in silence. And I remember thinking like, that's retarded.
I saw this guy in the JRE talking about he hired David Goggins to help him. And on day one, Dave's like, all right, let's see what we're working with. How many pull-ups can you do? He does some amount that a normal person can do, like 6 or something. Like, okay, cool. Rests for a little bit. Now how many can you do? 4. All right. It's again, now he's at like 2. He's like, all right, you've done 12. You have 88 to go. And what? Yeah. So he just one at a time with like 10 seconds of rest, 30 seconds of rest. He made this guy do 100 pull-ups. And that was like how they kicked off their training.
So he's training with Tony Ferguson, who's notorious for overtraining himself.
By the way, that's a terrible way to train for longevity and actual results. Dude, if that's what training is, I'm the best trainer ever because someone goes, I just got back from my 5-mile run, Coach Taylor. What do I do? I go, hoorah, Semper Fi, another 5 miles, partner. And then I just do that. And I'm the best. I'm the best coach on earth. I just tell him to do more than is appropriate.
I think, but he does it. He does more than what's appropriate. Like some of his feats are outrageous.
Dude, if my coach is shitting himself, I'm finding a new coach.
I think that's a big part of marathon running. I think everybody shits himself eventually.
I think Taylor lacks enthusiasm, discipline, and stick-to-itiveness.
Like those ultra marathons when you're running like 100+ miles. I see those ladies like shit running down their legs all the time. It's an upsetting sport.
Yeah, get better at running so you don't poop your pants while you're doing it. How about that?
Get better at recognizing when you need to poop. Okay.
I saw Tony Ferguson like going through this hell week with this guy, and he's like doing the fucking elliptical, like running and like training, and then he's vomiting. I'm like, the guy, he's vomiting. They recorded the vomit. That needs to be on social media now. I'm hyped for the fight though. I really am. I would bet on Tony Ferguson. I would bet on Tony Ferguson to break
fat did Paddy get? Do you know?
I don't think he does that anymore. I think that was just, he did that a couple
Kyle,
times.
are you worried though if Tony Ferguson is being overtrained by David Goggins when Tony Ferguson is already a psycho who's talked about training for 6 hours a day, that he's going to be like fucked up by the time the fight comes?
I think here's what I think could happen. I think that this could get him very mentally focused and motivated enough that he's like that lady lifting the car off her baby. He channels all this intensity, and I just don't know if Paddy is as hardened an individual mentally as Tony Ferguson is. I feel like Tony will go places that Paddy won't. I'm not talking about like eye gouging and biting. It's a fucking MMA fight, but I just think he's a rougher, tougher dude, and he's got so much more experience. And I don't think Paddy's been tested on that level.
Tony doesn't make it to the ring. Tony will get hurt before the fight.
Oh, he'll fight like injury or not, though. So I wouldn't bet that.
What?
Remember when Paddy Pimblett
fights?
Paddy Pimblett
blew his knee out. Like he had
one. He and Khabib used to like never met.
Yeah, a lot of injuries.
Khabib's kidneys failed that time.
Paddy Pimblett fought a terrible fight against Jared Gordon and then was like screaming in the octagon for a performance bonus. I was like, dude,
that was embarrassing.
Tone deaf are you? That lost him a lot of fans.
Yeah, that for sure. Well, not only that, like some of the stuff with Ariel Helwani when he got into a bit with him.
Cautions.
There's a MMA legend guy named BJ Penn. He's a Hawaiian guy. He, back in the day, he was the GOAT, and he's got CTE real bad. People call him out on it. And he was like, CTE does. This is on social media. Like CTE doesn't exist. And he lists like 4 of the greatest boxers, like Hearns, Ali, Tyson, blah, 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 blah. Like these guys didn't have it. It's made up. Just like the coronavirus, they used CTE to hide murders, And that's what he said. And it's like, there's CTE for you. See, he's paranoid. Like not making any sense. And he's mixing it with alcohol too. So that's another sad story. We're going to see more and more of that. And I don't think it's going to be a long time before the positives stop outweighing the negatives, right? People are going to keep letting their kids play football because it's so much goddamn money. We're not going to, and the NFL is so popular. We're not going to stop. They're just going to keep slamming their heads together.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's fucked up. I think BJ Penn's story is going to end up really sad, I think.
I agree.
It's already sad, but like, I think it's going to get nasty.
I hate to say this, like, because, dark jokes aside, like he's probably going to hurt himself eventually because he's got this weird mixture of a few things. It's definitely CTE, it's definitely substance abuse, and it's definitely an odd personality to go along with all that. So, and Tony Ferguson's right on the cusp of it too. He had that DUI crash where he flipped his truck like a couple months ago, and he's a guy who's done nothing but be a champion contender for fucking 10-15 years. He doesn't know any other way.
He has CTE, or you just think after his career he's likely?
I guarantee he does. I Justin Gaethje broke his brain. Like that man has absorbed more damage. He's only been knocked out once, and it was just like, what just happened? It's that clip when the guy got kicked in the chin and his face gets mushed.
Michael Chandler.
That's Tony Ferguson.
Yeah,
that guy needs to retire.
Yeah, the Gaethje
coming up.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good fight. The Gaethje Ferguson fight was like really gross. Just like the sound of his face getting hit. It's like, oh my god.
He was eating those punches to the nose, and you could see him just like shaking the pain out, like shaking the blood off, and just like coming back for more. And it's like, dude, why isn't your corner throwing in the towel? You have no path to victory. You're not going to take Justin Gaethje down. You don't have KO power. It's gonna keep going. You're in a meat grinder. Get out. Get out.
He looks like a monkey, dude.
He does.
Awesome.
He looks like a fucked up Down syndrome monkey.
How many G's is he pulling right there? Like his brain is slamming into the bottom of his skull right now, and with the same force, whatever force it takes to pull your face, skin, and flesh down like that, and make you look. Even his hair is flat against his skull. Like his skull is accelerating so quickly toward the goddamn moon. His brain can't keep up. It's slamming into the bottom.
Aren't you so happy you didn't? Aren't you so happy you didn't try to be a UFC fighter?
Every time I watch a UFC fight with a girl or somebody who's not like watches as much as me, I'm like, this is the worst job in the world. Sewers, sign me up for the sewers. Sign me up for like rat killer. Sign me up for garbage man. I ain't getting in that ring for 12-12. Fuck you. 12. Yeah. Like not even like I got offered to bare knuckle box Diego Sanchez about 2 years ago.
What the fuck kind of offer is that?
And exactly, right? I was like, that's where we start. Fuck all
no.
y'all. And people were like, come on. And I'm like, you don't understand. Like,
you do it. What the fuck?
You don't understand what you're talking about. Like that guy's a monster, first of all. And but I did like, play into it a little bit and talk shit against him. And he responded, which was hilarious. Because he's like, I could tell this Russian guy's on steroids, but I fought cheaters my whole career, so who cares? Like he bought into the whole trick that I like laid out. It was funny. He's clearly an easy guy to like, or maybe he's just a pro fighter and he knows how to like hit it back.
He probably has CTE. Diego?
CTE. I think he's mentally ill too.
Yeah.
He's always been like that though. Like on one hand, Diego Sanchez really seems like he has CTE. On the other, I saw him 20 years ago and he was like that. He's always been crazy.
I think he's always been a little mentally ill, a little bipolar or something. You got to be a little out there to want to jump in a cage and fight another dude in your shorts, right?
Dude, Brandon's right here.
Yeah, well, exactly.
I'm doing it against another YouTuber, so it's like that's a much better proposition. I would never do it against Diego Sanchez. Like fuck that.
Yeah, absolutely not. Or maybe like boxing though, like boxing, Diego Sanchez. It's like, all right, I get a concussion. I'll sell a concussion for 6 figures or whatever. But if you're gonna bare knuckle somebody and like get your teeth knocked out, like who's paying to put my teeth back in? I'm gonna lose money on this. You know what I mean? I'm gonna lose money if he knocks my teeth out. And you get your teeth knocked out in that sport regularly. I see it happen all the time. It's as regular as face cuts are in MMA.
If you guys were to bet, would you bet that I would win my fight against that guy?
Oh, the person that you're likely to face
your fight coming up?
Yeah, against the black belt YouTuber.
And it's MMA or
MMA?
Boxing?
It's MMA. I think I'm a pretty big underdog.
I think what you need. Can you strike with? You think you can strike with him?
I would think I would be able to outstrike him. I mean,
I think what you've got to do is start a campaign of terror in which you point out that all he's going to do is take you down because he knows that's the only place that he can win, that he can't fight a real man's fight, and sort of play that angle and tempt him into a stand-up fight with you. Because, like you said, he's a fucking black belt. Yeah. And I don't know what that means. Is that a Kmart black belt, or did he go to Brazil in some cave and train under?
He's very good at jiu-jitsu, and so it might not be. But then again, you said you've wrestled for 20 years. Like,
I think he's durable enough to close the distance. That's my fear. And then
he's a very strong guy. Like, I feel like the more boxing it is, the better your odds are.
Also, getting submitted seems way better than getting knocked out.
For sure. Is the goal pretty much to like backpedal and make them pay for trying to close the distance? Is that
no? I plan on grappling with them. I mean, I train at Crazy 88 with people like Tim Spriggs is a black belt world champion, Vanessa Griffin black belt world champion, Chris Chan black belt world champion. So I roll with those guys all the time, and I mean, they beat me, but I feel like I don't know.
They have to work at it.
Yeah, I'm confident. I believe in myself.
Well, in the end, it's going to be a fight. Like
I believe
he's
in
a
you
black
too.
belt in jiu-jitsu or whatever. But like what is his MMA like experience? Like what has he done in real like striking sports fights?
I think he's a professional boxer who's 0-3.
0-3 in boxing, yeah. But I'm 1-0 with my one win against Ice Poseidon, so that's pretty much.
What kind of gloves are you wearing? What kind of gloves are you wearing?
I think 4-ounce MMA gloves.
All right, so based on the 2 sentences that we know about this guy, maybe he's never been punched in the mouth with an MMA glove before. Maybe it's a different kind of fight. Like we keep talking about something that I don't know very much about, other than every time I've been punched in the face, I fucking hated it. That's what I know.
It's terrible.
I didn't want to go. I didn't want any more. All right, we're done here. All good. Mistake. I bought all that boxing gear when I was like 19 or 20 or something, like a set of everything. Because when you're the kid who has money and your friends don't, you might buy 2. And then like got rocked once, and it was like, all right, no more of this. Don't
I hate getting punched.
Don't need this mouth guard anymore, do I?
I love the tough guy out there. Like, I love it. I love eating shots. I'm like, do you, dude? Do you really? Because it fucking sucks so bad.
They were gonna set me up to fight over. It was a couple of years ago, but I forget how it evolved.
In MMA,
it had something to do with me and Keemstar. I think it might have been in MMA. If it wasn't, it was boxing. But it was basically, I think it was MMA. And I'm like, this is so lopsided. Like I don't know. It might as well be Diego. Like I can't beat Overflow. I can't. Whatever happens in there will be what he decides to make happen. And I declined. Yeah.
Well, they wanted me to box him, and I was like, "There's just no point. Like, if he's 0-3, it's like not impressive. If I beat him in boxing, but I think if I beat him in MMA, that'll be impressive. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but he's a black belt,
and I'm not afraid to lose at all. I mean, I think it's cool to take a challenge that's difficult. Like, I'm not.
I have a lot more
respect. humiliated.
Yeah, I'm way too much of a bitch to fight someone in a ring. Like, there's no way I'd do it.
There's no way I would do any sort of MMA or bare knuckle. I wouldn't do it at all. But like the thing I would prefer is that we put on those big floofy boxing gloves and we have a pretend fight for 2-minute rounds.
Actually, I would fight Kyle because I know he would hate it as much as I would. And we'd be texting beforehand, and we'd be like, all right, whoever.
You know what we do? We'd spend the whole 6 months camp choreographing the best fight ever. There'd be sweat popping off your head and stuff. There'd be like all sorts of matrix dodging.
What's the dance fighting? Capoeira or something?
Yeah. He'd be doing. I'd do a barrel roll through your legs, and you look confused for a moment. You'd go to pocket sand, and I would just like pretend like I couldn't get it out of my eyes while you work.
Someone pulls the John Cena
full WWE. You're like talking to the crowd, and I'm like behind you, like holding my finger up, like shushing, honestly, like don't let them know I'm
like. That's the kind of like YouTuber fight that I would want to be part of. Pro wrestling YouTuber.
Yeah. And then we fail at that because you actually have to be very, very in shape and athletic to be flipping off of that shit.
For 6 months. You give me 6 months to do anything where people don't beat me up, and I'll be presentable.
Oh yeah.
I'll let you hit me in the head with a chair.
I also only get 8 weeks to train for the fight, and I went from being completely out of shape to now in 8 weeks have to get ready for a fight. So that's also like not great.
Any performance enhancing drugs?
I would love to, but I'm pretty sure we get drug tested, and we got drug tested at the last one.
What?
Yeah. I've never done PEDs because I'm scared of the like it killing my fertility. But
yeah, you can freeze sperm though.
I think it would be badass to be like fucking super roided up. I'm 6'3", imagine me at 250, dude. Fucking just
you'd be enormous. Barreling down the street. No one wants to do interviews with you anymore.
Yeah.
I take on a lot of muscle. Like
Say what?
I was asking Kyle if he predicted you'd pack on a lot of muscle because you have a thin frame.
Yeah, I'm 6'3", 175. I'd probably pack on a lot of muscle, right?
It's testosterone. It's the testosterone is saying, fuck genetics, put some muscle on there. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're just going to build a lot of mass if you train correctly and eat correctly and just take testosterone. He'd get huge.
Yeah, I'm twinked up right now, dude. I got to beat this twink.
If I got roped into a fight, I would do PEDs.
You'd be out of breath
as a way to get out of it. Like,
Taylor fails the drug test.
I'd come in there. I've got like veins on my forehead. I'm so vascular. And
little do
like,
you know, this
fight.
is a
I'm like,
fuck,
organized really? Fight. No.
Hey, Taylor failed the drug test, but he looks amazing. Well, looks good to me.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, what?
The smell test?
And
smells fine.
You're just like, all of a sudden you hear Boagria. Your opponent arises from the smoke.